This conference will now be recorded.
So today we are going to start SAC Integrated Financial Planning, which is part of SAC Planning. Using SAC Planning, you can implement multiple scenarios like IBP you can implement, Integrated Financial Planning you can implement, Workforce Planning you can implement. Our focus is on Integrated Financial Planning. So as part of this course, what we do, first we'll understand the product. Product in the sense any product, whatever the product you use for planning. It may be BPC, it may be OneStream or any other product. You have to configure the system. You have to configure dimensions, models. Name might be different, right? So the names might be different, but same thing you have to configure. Modeling can be done. First, we have to prepare the models, dimensions. Then we are going to prepare, on top of that, we are going to prepare input schedules to input the data. Planning means inputting the data. On top of that, we need to use some allocation concepts. We need to calculate revenues, cost of goods sold, operational expenses. Then we need to use bit workflow where you performer can submit the data, reviewer can approve the data. We need to log the data. So as part of this, we are going to understand SAC planning product first. Then we are going to understand integrated financial planning. So this integrated financial planning scenario includes all financial planning scenarios. When I say financial planning scenarios, earlier in BPC we used to implement planning. So those are like financial planning. So integrated P&L statement you can get. You can plan your expenses, you can plan your revenue, and you can plan your capex, project expenses. Then you can transfer all those things to P&L statement. The same thing we are going to perform here in the integrated financial planning. If you observe earlier, long back, we used to have ECC system. Before talking about ECC and S4HANA, one thing you have to understand, SAC Integrated Financial Planning, another name for this is S4HANA Financial Planning. Whenever you get any job requirement or any requirement from customer saying that S4HANA Financial Planning, so this is whatever you are going to learn, SAC Integrated Financial Planning or S4HANA Financial Planning, both are same. Why this integrated financial planning called as S4HANA Financial Planning? Some of you, most of you are good in FI, S4HANA FI or ECC FI, whatever. FICO. Earlier, when we used to have ECC, in the ECC, we used to have some screens like activity price planning, cost center expenses planning, KP06, KP26, standard cost estimate, where you can estimate a product's particular standard cost, future cost. So ECC already those planning scenarios are available for a particular product. You can easily identify the profitability in ECC system. That capability was there, now also available. Even in S4HANA, you have that capability. You can plan your activity prices, you can plan your raw material costs, you can plan your, you can run MRP, you can, for a particular production order, whatever. Here, now also you have that possibility. You can, you can plan, you can perform a PN, you can understand a product profitability or a customer profitability.
Hi, Kiran. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. So you have, you can hear me, right? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Kiran.
Oh, I can't
Yes.
hear you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's okay. 1 second. Why I can't hear you?
Okay, so just restart your system.
audio.
I can hear you, Kiran.
Yeah. Okay. Someone is facing. Just restart your laptop. It works. Right. So S4 HANA financial planning available. Now also you can perform KP06, KP26 or some other apps also available. Fury apps also available. You also already know BPC. BPC, all these like operational expenses, product costs, or sales and profitability planning, or capex planning, or financial statement planning. In BPC, you can perform all this. BPC embedded, you can perform all this. BPC optimized. So when SAP introduced S4 HANA, they introduced BPC optimized. At that time, SAC was not there, planning content. So why then SAP moving to SAC integrated financial planning? All classical, whatever I told, maybe issue with the screens, filtering criteria, right? And rows, columns, they are fixed. You can't change. If you see ECC or S4 HANA, it's fixed screens, right? You can create some variant and you can, these are all fixed screens. And you cannot perform any predictive techniques. Like you want to forecast that number you have to enter. You cannot, system cannot propose those planning numbers. The system cannot propose a price for the activity in S4 HANA or ECC, right? Even in BPC, bit better when you compare S4 HANA ECC with BPC. BPC Excel add-in, so it's very good EPM add-in, right? But BPC, we didn't have any predictive capability. We didn't have at the from now also we didn't have predictive capability. It may be BPC optimized, it may be BPC standard. So now SAC came. It's very flexible. It's very flexible solution. You can use this SAC for analytics, planning, and predictive. If you see BPC, good for planning and legal consolidation, right? It was predictive and actual analytics. We used to have, for example, predictive, one more product we used to have, and analytics also we used to use BO. All right. So here it's SAC mix of all these three products. We all know analytics product, planning product, predictive product. In one product, in one SSE you have all the three capabilities. And here, if you see, there are some issues when we use BPC, day-wise planning very difficult, node level planning very difficult. So we have to go for one workaround, right? So SAC, you can do the day-wise planning, week-wise planning, monthly planning, possible. So due to these flexibilities, now SAP using integrated financial planning, SAC integrated financial planning content for this particular S4 HANA financial planning. So they developed entire content because SAP knows how it should be, what models, what dimensions should be developed for activity type price planning, cost expenses planning, product cost planning. They have a lot of experience. They already have those screens in S4 HANA, so they adopt it. And they used SAC capability. You can add whatever rows you want, whatever columns you want, whatever calculations you want, model level calculations, story level calculations, all those things you can use. So as part of this, first we'll go through the content. As part of this, first we are going to understand, let's understand the content what we are going to cover in this. As I said, first we are going to understand the product and its features. We will define the dimensions. Let's say we will create one dimension. We will add data to that particular dimension. Dimension basically holds the master data. We'll maintain the hierarchies. And we will also understand how to load data from flat files. Data connections are not part of this course. All right. So the planning capability. We are going to understand the planning capabilities of the SAC product, not analytics part or data connections part, administrative part. So that's why in entire course we are going to use sample data files, which I mean that sample data files contains whatever data we require for the planning. It's the base, right? So we are going to use flat files. We are going to configure the models, dimensions, hierarchies, whatever. So all the capabilities we are going to test. And we are after creating these models and dimensions, we will create stories. Stories basically kind of it contains pages. In each page you can have multiple widgets, tables, charts, and all those things. So in the tables we will see what are the planning capabilities we have. Like you can add master data on the fly, that we will check. You can increase, decrease the plan numbers, that we will check. Then we are going to understand all functionalities like any planning product, right? Spreading the data, distribution of data from parent to child, top-down planning. See, any planning product should support top-down planning and bottoms-up planning. Why? When I go for sales planning, I go for top-down planning. So the the high-level people sets the targets that should be distributed to the lower levels. So when I come talk about revenue, I need top-down planning. When I talk about expenses, expenses always bottoms up planning. So at the lowest level, cost center GL level, we plan that should be rolled out. That should be roll up. And also another functionality I need, which is currency translation. I might need multiple currencies. So my planning, so most of the customers, they do their planning in the local currency only. However, the local currency, when the group want to check the reports, they want to check it in USD or Euro or whatever Canadian dollars. Here you can check your plan data in multiple currencies. That means you can convert your local currencies or transaction currencies to any reporting currency possible. Very flexible solution. At here currency translation, at model level you can create the conversion measures. At story level you can create the conversion measures. And then we are going to use the predictive techniques. When I say predictive techniques, this is the capability of SAC, which is not available in BPC or any S4HANA products or ECC products. You can use predictive techniques. SAP delivered 3 predictive techniques. Automatic forecast. So based on your historical data, or you can train the system, and based on that trained data, system can predict future periods. So you can have here you have a version concept, public versions and private version. You can create multiple private versions with automatic forecast, linear regression, triple exponential smoothing, like that. Some predictive techniques, algorithms available. And each predictive technique you can store it in a private version. Later you can submit to the public version. You can create rolling forecast template. You can create predictive, forecast template. There is a difference between rolling forecast and forecast. You know how many periods actual data you need, how many periods plan data you need. Cutoff based on the cutoff date. You can define. No need to create. SAP gives you just define the cutoff date, look ahead, look back and look ahead. You just define the months. That's it. System will give you rolling forecast template. So earlier in BPC and other products, we used to create those. Now system can propose rolling forecast and forecast templates. And also we are going to understand value driver trees. This is a concept. So tree based, it's kind of, it looks like a fishbone or a tree. You can just give the assumptions. So for example, my planning completed, my customer completed the sales planning, and they also understood the gross revenue or net income. They also understood the net income. So net income, When I say net income, gross profit minus discounts or whatever. So how the gross profits come, like gross revenue, how the gross, let's say gross revenue, how the gross revenue come, quantity multiplied by the price. So now I finished my net income, so I got some net income. Later, my management thought, let's do some indexing. Let's go with some simulations. Sorry. So this data, whatever planned data, that's okay. Let's have some simulations. So they want to change the, so for example, if there is a price index, if the price index says 1.1, just 10% increase, how my net income is going to affect. So when I change the price index, the prices will be changed. When the price changes, price multiplied by quantity changes, and it affects your gross revenue. And the gross revenue minus discounts gives you the net revenue. So basically, there is a link. If I change the quantity, so there is a market growth index. When I change the market growth index, how it is going to affect all the upper levels. So that can be easily performed using value derivatives. So it's kind of simulations. Whenever we talk about planning, the planning requires calculations. Allocation is a calculation. Currency translation is a calculation. Sales quantity we plan at customer level. Sales prices we plan at product level. So this product level prices I need to multiply with customer wise quantity, and I need to get the revenue. This is also a calculation. I need to plan the discounts of my customer, and sales revenue minus this discounts gives you my gross revenue basically, net revenue. So we need advanced formulas. So calculations. So the once you calculate, you generate the data that should be stored in the model. So for that we use data actions. So allocations we are going to understand. We are going to understand advanced formulas. When we talk about advanced formulas, there are two ways of formulas. You can use visual editor. I mean, for advanced formulas, single concept. Using visual editor, you can do the formula like we use like one scripting. And also you have a scripting. You can directly read the script. If, for example, if you are a FICO consultant, you are not comfortable with the scripting, then you can use a visual editor. So you just write your, I mean, just graphically you arrange whatever calculation you want. System generates the code for you. So the latest technology they are they're using here. We will understand visual editor and scripting both. We will do the all for all whatever I said, all exercises we are going to execute with the sample data. Allocation we are going to execute in the system. Once we complete this, at the end we need to understand core planning functionalities like data locking. I want to lock the data. There are some validation rules we need to understand. For example, if I select a profit center, the relevant cost centers should be planned. It's not like, so for example, if I plan a cost center, system should derive the company code and profit center automatically. No need to select profit center, then company code, then cost center. Not required, because cost center assigned to a profit center and company code. Validation based on attributes you can perform. Validation based on members you can perform. Some customer says when we plan the expenses for this cost center, I want to use only set of GL accounts, not all the GL accounts. You can create a table. Based on the table, you can enable it. These were not possible in member validation, not possible in BPC. Here it's possible. Data locking we are going to understand. Validation tasks we are going to understand. And also we are going to understand processes. Calendar processes. We can define a planning calendar. In the planning calendar, we can define the processes and their control. Processes in the sense operational expenses planning, one process we can create. There we can have multiple approvals, single approval, multiple performers, single performer, not a problem. So with this, first we are going to understand, I mean, all these exercises will execute in the system. So we will, when I say we will, you are going to execute in the system. It's not whatever sessions I'm conducting on SSA planning, it's not like I just create something, you just see and you go home, right? I mean, you just leave that. So you are going to create in the system. You are going to create the dimensions. When you are creating a dimension, if you get an error on the time, at that time, I'm going to solve it immediately. So I know you are all working. The time is important. So here I'll make sure that everyone performing the exercises in the system. We are going to use SSA trial user. So in the trial user, you are going to perform all the exercises. Errors are solved at that time only. Once we understand the product, then we are going to move to integrated financial planning. As part of integrated financial planning, because now you understand product, you can understand the concepts, functionalities now. We are going to activate the content whatever SAP delivered for integrated financial planning. We will go through all the processes. Which processes? Here you see there are 5 processes. Operational expenses, product cost planning, profitability planning, and capex planning, financial statement planning. You see these arrows, so these are all integrated. Data is moving from one place to another place. So this is what we are going to cover. That's what I have written here. So here we are going to have detailed discussion on the integrated financial planning configuration. Right, so detailed discussion on the integrated financial planning, and it's a bit configuration. We cannot, I mean, by configuration already we did it here, right? So I'm not going to cover the configuration, but we are going through the particular scenarios. I'm going to cover capex planning. We are going to perform capex planning and depreciation planning. Financial statement planning. We are going to understand P&L statement planning. Our concentration, our main concentration is on P&L planning. From the P&L planning, how you are going to derive the balance sheet planning. From the balance sheet planning, how you are going to derive the cash flow planning, we are going to understand. As part of sales and profitability planning, how the sales prices are planned, quantity planned, and revenue and discounts are calculated. So then profitability planning we are going to perform. So sales revenue performed, and we are going to get product cost. Based on the product cost, we are going to understand COGS. Sales quantity multiplied by this particular product cost gives you the COGS. So there we are going to get the product cap profitability or customer wise profitability or product wise profitability or whatever level you want, which we used to call it as profitability segment, right? So the segmental planning possible. I mean, segment wise you can get the profitability. We are going to understand product cost estimate. So as earlier we used to use a standard cost estimate, but now we can use this particular application product cost estimate for the standard cost estimate. Raw material prices planning, resource calculations, quantity structures, product cost planning. So basically any product you will have a quantity structure. When I say quantity structure, it's bill of material plus routing. So we are going to understand the quantity structure. In the quantity structure, whatever raw materials are used, the prices are coming here. In the quantity structure, whatever activities you are going to use, that activity prices are coming from your operational expenses planning. Here you see the activity prices are calculated here. Then operational expenses planning, we are going to understand activity quantity we are going to perform, activity price planning, activity type split. So there are different ways to calculate the price. You can directly enter the activity price, or you can calculate the price based on activity quantity and value. Cost center expenses, and allocations of service cost center expenses to manufacturing cost centers, right? So we are going to understand this one. And also as part of this course, I'm going to cover, I'm not going to cover, I'm just going to, what do you say, that export, data export. Earlier we call it as data retraction, right? So I will share the documentation because in this trial user we cannot execute, right? So export, I can give you one example. It's optional, right? This is what I'm going to cover as part of integrated financial planning. So total, so 30 hours session, it might take more than 30 hours, weekend sessions only. It means, I mean, Saturday and Sunday we are going to conduct the session. Saturday 2 hours and Sunday 2 hours. So I'm going to give you the configuration steps, the detailed configuration steps. Anyway, we are going to execute in the system, right? But again, when you want to repeat, you need configuration steps, right? So the configuration steps and whatever PDF documents required to understand the concepts. So that PDF documents I'm going to share it with you. Course fees 30,000 INR. Server not required because it's we are going to use the trial user. I'm going to provide you samples, master data and transaction data for the practice. You can attend the sessions 2 times in 6 months. For example, I mean, again, some new features come after 1 year. If you want to attend, you already attended 2 times because you can attend 2 times in 6 months. So once you already attended 2 times, third time if you want to attend after 6 months or 6 months, so just you need to pay 6,000 INR. Not entire fees, only 6,000 INR if you want to repeat the sessions for the latest features, right? So this is what entire course, right? So ask me the questions relevant to the sessions, like any weekend sessions, or you want to see how understand how the sessions are going to be conducted. Those questions, right? Don't ask any questions relevant to data connections because we are not going to cover data connections. Don't ask any questions relevant to predictive. We are not going to cover. Only planning relevant predictive techniques we are going to cover, right? Time series and those three I said. Don't ask any questions relevant to exporting data from SAC to YACDOC P table or any other table. So at that time I'm going to give an example, right? It's optional. So planning relevant, any questions you can ask me. Yeah, it's open for the questions. You can ask any questions relevant to the
Uh,
sessions.
yeah, Kiran.
Yeah,
Kiran sir, one simple question. Just I want to know the difference between planning consultant and a reporting consultant. I think so. There are two separate batches which has been identified, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
correct. Correct. So planning consultant is different, reporting consultant is different. So reporting consultant should know entire business process. I mean, even planning consultant also should know the business processes, right? So the when you talk about uh, 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 analytics consultant, right? So if you see, like earlier we used to have BW and BO. In the BO, what used to do? We used to do the dashboarding, right? We used to create some reports based on the customer requirements, right? Filters we define rows, calculations, and all those things. Some conversions also, right? So in SAC analytics also, you can perform all those activities. So that is, you can how so stories. Here we use stories. So uh, what are the features in the stories? What are the things you can perform in the stories? And SAC analytics side, like data moving, like let's say how to collect data from source to target, SAC. So those are part of SAC analytics. That's why I said data connections I'm not going to cover. It's part of SAC analytics, right? When we talk about planning, as I said, I explained, I have gone through the content, right? So these are all part of planning. That's why those two separate subjects.
Hi, Kiran.
Thank
This
you,
is
Kiran.
Vijay.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you know me. I mean, I have been attended for group reporting, right? Last year,
Yeah, yeah,
and in
yep,
June,
yep.
I think, June or July, I forgot it. Might be Yes.
Yep,
So,
yeah,
well,
got it.
so this SAC integrated financial planning, still, is there any difference between BPC? Are people are adapting BPC or group reporting or business planning consolidation? So, what was the difference? Because my company is quoting for BPS, but not for, they're going for S4 HANA, but they're not going for group reporting or SSC. That's my wondering about it.
So it depends, right? So it's sometimes SAC. Some people what they think like SAC is a cloud-based solution, right? So the
Okay.
data should be moved to that particular product, right? That may be a reason, or
Mhm.
uh, right. And film, if you see my point of view, if you ask me, BPC, when you use BPC, S4 HANA on top of BPC you cannot implement. So S4 HANA you should have BW for HANA, then you can implement the BPC standard.
Mhm.
If you are using S4 HANA, it might come with BPC optimized, right? It's the real time. You cannot use. I mean, it's a real time that also you can use, but not that flexible as I said, like predictive techniques and all those things. So it depends. Like if you have ECC, you don't have any other option. Like uh, BW should be there. Then on top of that, BPC you can implement.
They have BW already, BW or BI.
Maybe that because of that, because they already have BW. On top of that, they want to implement that. But the data loading, if you observe,
Mhm.
it will move from source to BW, BW to BPC. Yeah. So it's data footprint, two times data footprint. Yeah. So there are so many. I mean, you can do the comparison. So a lot of blogs are also there to compare BPC and SSA. It's a business decision, right? So
Mhm.
let's not go detailed discussion on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Hi,
an
Kiran.
Hey, Kiran.
it,
Yep.
I just
Good. Good.
well, this SAC training covers all modules, or do we have any other modules?
All module in the sense. Whatever. All it's integrated financial planning. Whatever modules you need, all the modules it's going to cover
So then, what is
to derive
analytics?
a P&L plan. What is?
Only what is
Huh?
analytics here? I mean,
That's reporting, right? See, basically what happens, you have actuals which are stored in S4 HANA, right?
yes.
So planning is here in SSE. So
Mhm.
the once the planning is completed, actuals are posted. Somewhere you need to perform actual versus plan dashboarding and all those things, right? So that can be
Mhm.
done in SSE analytics.
Kiran, is it correct? The data flow that you show,
Hmm.
that's all will be there in this class, correct? The data flow
Correct, correct.
shows.
So this is
This is,
the main topics we are going
yeah,
to
yeah.
cover.
Hello, madam. How are you?
I'm so far breathing.
Kiran,
Yeah. Any other? Yeah.
Ashish here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I had
Hello.
a bunch of questions.
Hello.
hey,
So,
Yeah. Go
first
ahead.
up, would uh, would we be handling hierarchies, creation of hierarchies, transformation of data and data model, and
Yeah. Right.
would we be
I'm
yeah,
going
okay,
to cover how to create multiple hierarchies, right? It's part of the this thing in the
okay,
dimensions, right? If you want to understand like how to load hierarchies from S4 HANA to SAC, I made a video that is sufficient to understand that. I will give that video.
yeah. So hierarchies within SAC, right? So,
Yeah,
uh,
hierarchies within SAC we are going to yes.
okay,
Hi,
and
Kiran.
then would
Nisarg
we
this
be
side.
Hi.
working on
Yep.
formulas as well?
Planning relevant formulas, yes, formulas, advanced formulas we are going to understand. Story level calculations also, formulas also we are going to understand.
Okay,
Restricted
and then
measures, calculated measures, conversion measures, we're going to understand. Yeah.
and then uh, the access to the system, would it be an
Trial
additional
user.
charge
No, free, free. As is a trial user, it's free.
included in the training? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Hi,
Anyone
Kiran.
can create
Nisarg
it.
this side.
It's out. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I have two questions. First question, I'm an analytical consultant. I'm working with them mostly on the reporting side. So, do you have any specific courses to opt for that? And one more thing, if I wanted to complete the course within time frame of 1 month, is there any possibility or is there a way? Do you have any separate batches or kind of thing that can cover? I'm a basically analytical consultant, and I'm more keen to be part of the analytical team only. So my interest is toward that. Do you have any specific training around that?
So SAC analytics side, I don't have any training. However, business processes, right? Like in S/4HANA, you have different business processes, right? Record to
Mm.
report process or manufacturing process, yeah, procurement process. So for that, I used to have one training, but I will inform you when I start a new batch, right? So SSC analytics slide, no, nothing, no batches. I don't have any plan.
Uh, Hi, Kiran.
Okay.
This is Shirish
Yeah,
here.
And number.
yeah.
Actually, I'm an analytical consultant. So currently,
Hmm.
I'm getting the opportunity to work in SFC planning. So
Hmm.
how I'll be moved to planning because I'm newly in planning. So
Hmm.
what to the how will be benefit in my career because I have almost 15 plus year experience in analytics area as for HANA, CDS
Correct.
view, V for HANA,
Hmm.
everything I have worked on.
Hmm.
But recently I got the opportunity to SSC planning. So how if I'm moving to SSC planning more models or everything you need to create. So is it benefit to in my career or anything? Uh, is there
Definitely,
any?
see, learning new functionality. See, analytics is different, planning is different. If you see, when you come to
Yeah,
planning, it's a consulting. You need to deal with your customer. You need to understand their requirement. You have to give the solution. When you compare with other products, you see, financial planning bit challenging. So, if you want to grow in your career, yes, it's the best
yeah.
option.
Is it required for basically the finance knowledge to overcome
Required.
everything? Everything.
Is required.
Okay.
So when we are going to discuss this integrated financial planning, you might face some
Mhm.
issues to understand. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely, because when I say
Okay.
net income, when I say depreciation, when I say straight line method, WDV, or product cost, when I'm talking about cost estimations, quantity structures, you feel like you some first time you definitely feel uncomfortable, but
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
repeat
That's
second
yeah,
time you will be
yeah.
comfortable.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
Kiran,
So is there any
this
language specific required to learn this one or any? Because
No,
JavaScript,
no,
as
it's a
I
functionality.
gone through.
See, when you work, you get this functional knowledge, right? Because you don't have
Okay.
working experience on these modules, so that's why I said like you have to attend 2 to 3 times so that you can cope up with this particular functionality.
So there is no script based. Is there any script we need to write or anything
Scripts are there. Advanced
customizing
formulas are scripting only.
related?
Scripting is there.
Is it JavaScript? Yeah, JavaScript.
That is for custom applications, analytics designer. But within
Uh-huh.
for the calculations, we have scripting. That is separate. JavaScript is separate. Both are different.
Okay. Is it any language specific script or any just only for
No, no,
expression
that is
like
specific to
scripting?
SEC. Expressions like scripting, I don't know
Okay.
what is expression like scripting. So it is SSC
Uh-huh.
specific scripting. It's understandable, easy.
Okay. Okay. This is understandable. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Kiran,
yeah,
Nisarg this side. I'm
yeah.
having
Listen.
another doubt. Sorry to raise multiple questions, but I have one more last thing maybe. Uh, does this course will cover the financial closure processes like statutory reporting, local statutory processes, and management reporting process? So, is it going to covered as part of this
No, no,
session
those are all
or
reporting requirements, right? So those are all
okay?
reporting requirements. So according to, I mean, you have to enable the content accordingly, those reporting requirements. We are not going to cover any analytics part. That's what. Reporting or analytics both are same. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine, fine, fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thanks.
Kiran,
Kiran,
this is
Ashish
Nagesh.
here again. So,
Yeah.
would we be working on data aggregation and creating models? instead of data sets? Because if you upload it through, we'll be uploading it through file, right? So that is limited to this data set. I don't know if I'm correct, but would we be working on data models as well based on those
So
data that
see,
we
basically what happens in the demo, I don't give detailed explanation because most of the people comes analytics background or FICO background, right? So for us, data more than data, I mean, the sample data is required. We have to understand the planning capabilities, right? So the data sets creation, data loading, all those comes under analytics part that we can whatever sample data we'll use that sample data flat files only. That's why I clearly said data connections are not part of the course.
Yeah, Kiran, this is Mahesh. Sorry,
Yeah.
as I mentioned yesterday, joined late. Just a couple of basic questions. Okay, I think it is clear for me. It is not analytical course. It is a planning course. But when it comes to
Hmm.
planning, you say like it is only financial planning, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Or that means capex and apex plannings and all the assets
Correct.
management, AR and
Correct.
AP,
Correct.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Here.
And one quick question, like I'm a background of the data warehousing and the reporting guy, okay, and I'm
Hmm.
planning to get into the functional areas, and that is the reason like I'm interested to look forward to this course. Do you think is the
Hmm.
right path, or like what do you think?
It's the right path because you have analytics means you might have worked on P&L balance sheets and some other
Yeah,
reporting
I'm
requirements,
into
right?
SAP from last 19
Right.
years, and I'm familiar with all the terms and
All the
terminologies. And of
s-
course, sometimes like I was into more into logistics side, sales and distributions, and PP and
hmm.
MM and all those areas, not the financial side. But I'm familiar with the terms and
So
what is
this
like
is integrated financial planning. It covers all those things. So as I said, like first time you might be you might not understand the integration, total integration part, but just repeat. Second time you definitely understand.
Okay, so that means like ultimately like once we complete this course, we get like of course it totally depends on how much I will learn. But generally the aim of this course is like once you complete this course, you can go as a SAP
Financial planning consultant.
financial
Yeah,
planning consultant, correct? But
correct.
when it comes to the if the clients are using like a RP system, SAP system,
Hmm.
then it is well
Hmm.
and good. But when they are using the S4, how does it work? Is it still be valid to good to like will they use this
No,
or
no,
no?
no. So
Okay,
S4 HANA, if they want to use it, they're not going to use SSE. So we are going to talk about SSE only, right? So if the client is not going to use, that means you are not. That they don't have SSE. Whatever skills you learned SSE, right?
oh, okay. I'll put it the other question. Like if the client is an S4, and
Hmm.
what do they when it comes to the financial planning? Do they have any separate module for the in the within the S4, or like still they have to use the SSE?
They have a lot of options. If they have S4 HANA, they can use BPC. They can use S4 HANA itself for the financial planning. They can use BPC optimized. They can access it. So whatever they want, they can use. I'm just stopping the recording.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no problem. And so that means